Hey there friends, it's Ashley here from the Loopy Lamb, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make my Caron Anniversary Cakes blanket, the Tranquil Tides blanket. Now, I am out of that yarn, unfortunately, in order to replicate the blanket here on video for you. So I'm going to be making a small swatch and show you how you can make that blanket. I have some Bravo worsted weight yarn here with me today from We Crochet, and I have a 5.5mm Furls Odyssey crochet hook. And in the pattern, I've given the multiples in order to adjust your blanket size, and so you can by all means use a worsted weight yarn and hook size of your preference in order to make a blanket in pretty much any yarn weight you would like. So if you are planning on using the Caron Anniversary Cakes, you will need an 8mm hook or whatever hook you'll need in order to match the gauge given in the pattern, and one Caron Anniversary Cake. That is a super bulky yarn, so you'll need a 928 yards of a comparable super bulky weight yarn if you're not planning on using the Caron Anniversary Cakes. You'll also need a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle. So the finished blanket size, if you're using the Caron Anniversary Cakes, is 48 inches long by 36 inches wide, and the gauge that you'll need to meet is 9.5 stitches by 5 rows, and that equals 4 inches. Some other things to note at the beginning of this pattern: the chain 3s at the beginning of each row do count as your first double crochet stitch. So when you are counting, make sure you're counting that chain 3. And the multiple in order to change the size of your blanket is chain in multiples of 12, and then add 3 for the turning chain. Okay, and now for my blanket, because the Caron Anniversary Cakes is a self-striping yarn, I control the color changes, and every 3 rows I cut the yarn and change to the next color. But we're going to do a small sample today with the worsted weight yarn. So if you are following along and wanting to make the Caron Anniversary Cakes blanket, you will begin with a starting chain of 87. So chain 87 using the 8mm hook or whatever hook you're using to match gauge with your bulky weight yarn. For me today, I'm just going to do a sample of chain 36. See, that's 12 times 3. Okay, so I did 36, and then I'm going to add 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, so again, if you're using another weight of yarn, you can just chain in multiples of 12, and then when you've hit that number, then you would add 3. Okay, so you are going to start your blanket by placing a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Double crochet. Now, keeping in mind that those first skipped chains will count as your first double crochet stitch. Okay, so then we're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do 2 double crochet decreases. So that's where you're going to double crochet 2 together twice. So we're going to, there's the first half of our double crochet, first half of our second double crochet, so we'll have 3 loops on our hook, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. Okay, so that's your first decrease stitch. Then we're going to do that again. So yarn over into the next chain, pull through, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. You'll have 2 loops remaining on your hook. You're going to yarn over into the next chain, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 4 loops on your chain, on your hook, Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. You'll have 3 loops remaining, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. So there's your 2 double crochet decreases completed. Okay, then we're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to do a double crochet increase in the next 2 stitches. That's where you're going to place 2 double crochet stitches in each of the next 2 chains. Okay, so here is the first increase, and then increase into the next stitch. Okay, then we're going to double crochet into the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to double crochet decrease over the next 4 stitches. So that's 2 double crochet decreases. So there's the first part of our first decrease. There's our first decrease completed. And then 1 more double crochet decrease. Okay, so there's 2 decreases. Then we're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to increase in the next 2 stitches. So double crochet increase 2 times. There's 1, and there's my second. Then we're going to double crochet in the next 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to double crochet decrease over the next 4 stitches. So that's 2 double crochet decreases. There's 1. There's 2. Then we're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. So you're going to repeat that pattern that we've practiced here. 3 double crochets followed by a double crochet decrease, 3 double crochets followed by 2 double crochet increases. And then you're going to repeat that until you have 1 stitch remaining. Okay, so you let me explain that a little better. So you'll do, let's start from our 2 decreases here. You'll do 3 double crochets, 2 increases, 3 double crochets, 2 decreases. Okay, and so you're going to keep following that pattern until you have 1 stitch remaining, and then in that last stitch you're going to place a double crochet increase. So that's 2 double crochets in the last chain. There's 1 and 2. And I'll lay that 5 just quickly so you can see how our ripple is already starting to take shape. Okay? So then you're going to chain 3 and turn your work. Okay, and then you're going to double crochet in that very first stitch there, where your chain comes out of. That will be your double crochet increase. Then you're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And so I found this really helpful when I was learning how to do ripples and chevrons. And hopefully somebody else will find this helpful as well. So if you lay your work flat like this, anytime you see these dips, you know you should be doing decrease stitches. Anytime you see these peaks, you're doing increases. And that's what's causing that shaping. So for here, I've done my 3 doubles. And then now, because I'm in, I've heard it referred to as a valley. Now I'm in the valley here, I'm going to decrease 2. Then I'll work my way back up the hill with 3. And then I'll go over the peak of the mountain with my increases. I know it's kind of silly, but when I was first learning, I struggled with understanding how ripples and worked. And now that somebody's taught me that, I'm always thinking in my head, down in the valley, up to the peak. It's kind of silly, I know. So anyways, I've done my first decrease, and then I'm going to do my next double crochet decrease here. Okay, then we're going to double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I should be up near the top of my little mountain there, and we're going to double crochet increase 2 times. Oops. Okay, and then we're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to do 2 double crochet decreases. And then double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to double crochet increase in the next 2 stitches. And then double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Oops. Alright, now we're going to double crochet decrease 2 times. And then we're going to double crochet in the next 3. And you would continue this pattern along for the length of your blanket until you have 1 stitch remaining, which should be your turning chain. And then you're going to double crochet increase into that turning chain, because we're remembering that that turning chain counts as a double crochet. All right, so then you'll chain 3 and turn your work. Okay, so we're moving on to row 3. And so row 3 is done a little bit differently, in that we're going to be working in the back loop only of row 2 that we just finished. So we're going to use the same stitch pattern, but we're going to be working into the back loop only. So into that first stitch, we're going to double crochet. Again, this counts as your first increase because that chain 3 is your first stitch. Then we're going to double crochet 3, and the whole row is done in the back loop only. Okay, so we've got 3 doubles. Then we're going to double crochet decrease in the next 2 times, so in the next 4 technically. And again, that's also done in the back loop only. is 1, 2. We're going to double crochet in the next 3. Again, we're continuing to work in that back loop. Okay, then double crochet increase 2 times. Again, the whole row is done in the back loop only, so don't forget that. Okay, so now we're going to double crochet decrease 2 times. Again, back loop only. So anyways, I did my decreases here. I'm doing 3 double crochets, and then we're back up here at the top, so we're doing our 2 increases. And we're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches. And we're going to double crochet decrease 2 times. Again, we're repeating that pattern over and over again until we are at the end of our round and we have 1 stitch remaining. So every row should end with 3 double crochets and finished with a double crochet increase. Okay, and again, that chain 3 always counts as the first stitch, so you're placing that double crochet increase into the top of your chain 3. Okay, so that's how we're looking so far. You can see we've got this bridge now. And we're moving on to row 4. If you're following along with the Caron Anniversary Cakes, at this point you would cut your yarn and change your color, but I'm going to continue on with this color for simplicity's sake. So moving on to row 4, again, you're changing colors if you're using the anniversary cake. Chain 3 and turn. And then this is just going to be the same pattern we've done in every other row. So double crochet increase in the first stitch, followed by 3 double crochets. And that's worked under both loops again for this whole row. So increase 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do our 2 decrease stitches. And 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and increase. Two increases, and then 3 double crochets. So you're going to repeat this pattern again to the end of your row until you have 1 stitch remaining. And then you're going to place a double crochet increase in the top of that stitch. I'll see you at the beginning of row 5. Okay, so I am about to start my row 5. And so for row 5, all of the stitches will be worked in the back loop only, and we'll be repeating the same pattern that we have been for all of our other rows. So we've got our chain 3 and our DC in the first stitch, then our double crochet 3, followed by our decrease, or 2 decreases, And again, this whole row is worked in the back loop only. Okay, so follow that same pattern, and I will see you back at row 6. Okay, so this is the back of our work. I've turned, we're on the beginning of row 6. I've done my chain 3, and for row 6, it's the same pattern we've been doing, that 3 crochet, 2 decreases, 3 double crochets, 2 increases across, starting and ending our rows with an increase stitch. So we're going to continue doing that, but we're not working in the back loop. We're back to working under both loops, and that will be row 6. Okay, so I am here at the beginning of row 7. I've finished row 6, turned and chained 3. Now for row 7, we are going to repeat our same row pattern, or stitch pattern that we've been doing every other row, but this row will also be worked in the back loop only. So if you want to pause your video, repeat that in pattern in the back loop only for this row. I will see you back for the beginning of row 8. Okay, so we are back at the beginning for row 8. So for if you're following along with the Caron Cake's anniversary blanket, you are going to be changing your colors at the end of row, let me just double check, row 9, because rows 8, 9, and 10 are all worked in the same pattern under both loops. Okay, so just 8 rows, 8, 9, and 10, so 3 rows of the same pattern for your blanket under both loops. And you would change colors in at the end of row 9. Okay. Then, after you're finished rows 8 through 10, rows 11 through 15 will be the repeat of these back loop stitches that we've done. So rows 3 through 7 will be repeated for rows 11 to 15. And so you've got this pattern of 3 rows of your stitch pattern done in under both loops, and then you're going to have a pattern of 5 rows, so repeating rows 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, okay, with this back loop only pattern. Okay, so again, 3 rows of your basic ripple in the under both loops, and then 5 rows where you're alternating the back loop only every other row. Okay, if you're interested in getting the written pattern, it is available for free on my blog, or you can grab an ad-free PDF version of this pattern in my Etsy or Ravelry shops for a small fee. So the total number of rows, if you're following along with the Caron Cake's blanket, is there are 62 rows in that blanket, and it's a lapgan size. If you're using another yarn, you can just keep going until you're satisfied with the size, or until you just don't want to work on it anymore, or you're out of yarn. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section below. I'm happy to help you. And again, if you're looking for any free crochet patterns or the written version of this pattern, you can find it on my blog, theloopylamb.com. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Happy hooking, and I'll see you next time.